Hello, my dear students. Welcome to a new week again. This week lesson we'll be looking at reproduction in flowering plants. In reproduction in flowering plants this week, we have the following lesson objectives. 1. To describe the structure and functions of the reproductive organs of a flower. Secondly, to describe the three types of flowers based on the position of their ovaries. And also we'll look at illustration of different types of placentation with examples. Now let's look at the structure of a flower. The reproductive structure of a flowering plant is called flower, which contains both the male and female sex organ, thereby making them to be bisexual. So this enables flowering plants to exhibit sexual reproduction. And we know that the plants that we are talking about here, we call them the angiosperms. These are the plants that we call flowering plants. So they are the only plant that is favored with this process. So fertilization inside a flower can lead to the production of seed, and also the seed will be capable of germinating to form a new plant. Now, having known this, the structure of a flower, we have the following: pedicel or peduncle, or we can call it stalk, or we have the sepals, we have the ovule, we have the ovary, we have the style, we have the stigma, we have the petals, we have the anther, we have the filament, we have the sepals. These are different parts of a flower. If you look at it, this is a longitudinal section of a generalized flower. Now let's look at some of these parts. The sepals and petals are not directly involved in reproduction. Since they are not directly involved, this and this, they are not directly involved in reproduction. So because of that, we call them non-essential floral parts. Non-essential floral parts. Why we have the stamen, the carpels, and the stamen as the essential floral part. They are vital for sexual reproduction. So let's talk. The sepals now is the outermost hole of a flower. They are made up to 3 to 5 sepals, collectively known as the calyx. When we have 3 to 5 of them, we call them a calyx. Why? The sepals is usually small and green, just like as you can see here in a colored picture. It's usually small, colored. These sepals may be separate. When they are separate, we call them polysepalous, or when they are joined together, we call them gamosepalous. So when we have fused sepals, we say that they are gamosepalous. When we have separated sepals, we say that they are polysepalous. Now, if we go to the petals are collectively called corolla. From the second hole inside the sepals, many flowers have up to 4 to 10 petals. It differs based on the type of flower. They have up to 4 to 10 petals. So when they are separated, we call them polypetalous. Or if they are joined in a tube or fused together, we say that they are gamopetalous. After the petals, we have the stamens. The stamens are collectively known as the androgen, the male reproductive organ of a flower, the androgen. It's made up of a long, slender filament and also a swollen end called the anther. It has about 4 pollen sacs that contains pollen grain in each of the anthers. So this and this makes up the stamen. While if we come to the carpel, the carpels are collectively known as gynogen. The gynogen make up the central hole of a flower. They make up the central hole of a flower, which is this, from here. This is the central hole of a flower. They are the female reproductive organs of the flower. So flowers may have just one carpel. If they have just one carpel, we say that it is monocarpellous. Example of such flower, we have flamboyant. Why? If we have two or more separate carpels, we say it's apocarpels. If we have two or more separate carpels, we say that it's apocarpels. Example of such flower that is apocarpels, we have rose flower. Or if a flower has two or more carpels that are fused to form a single structure, we say that it is syncarpels. We have example of such flower as hibiscus flower. The single carpels or fused carpel is sometimes called pistil. When we have a single carpel or fused carpel, it is sometimes called pistil. Now this is the description of the structure of a flower. Now we are going to look at the functions of different parts of the flower. We have first, we have the stalk, the flower stalk, or we call it the pedicel or peduncle, or we call it stalk. Now the function is that it attaches the flower to the stem. It provides attachment for the flower to the stem. And after that, we have another structure here that we call the receptacle. The receptacle is also called thalamus. Thalamus, it carries and holds together the other parts of the plant. It is the base in which other parts are formed. So after that, we have the sepals. Collection of two or more sepals, we call it a calyx. It includes and protects other floral parts when the flower is in bud stage. And apart from that, the sepals is brightly colored, attract insect. If green, just like this one now, it makes plant fruit through the process of photosynthesis. And after that, we have the petals. The petals here attract insects which pollinate plants as a result of their good scent that they produce. They protect stamens and carpels as well. We have the filament. We have the filament here. We have the filament. So the filament holds or carries the anther. It holds or carries the anther, while the anther itself contains pollen grain. Now, what about pollen grain? Pollen grain is also a part of the flower that produces the male gamete and fertilize the ovules. We have the stigma. The function of the stigma is that it receives pollen grain at pollination. Whenever pollination occurs, it is the stigma that will receive the pollen grain. Then after the stigma, we have the style. The function of the style is that it connects the stigma to the ovary. It connects the stigma to the ovary. And also, it is the passage for pollen tube to reach the ovule. Now, after that, we have the ovary here. We have the ovary. The ovary contains the ovule. The ovary contains the ovule. Now, apart from containing the ovary, the ovary also develops into fruit after fertilization. The ovary develops into fruit. We have here the ovule. The ovule is function that it produces the female gamete. The ovule produces the female gamete. And apart from the ovule producing the female gamete, it also develops into seed after fertilization. Now then, we can see the nectary. The nectary plays the role of providing scent, providing good scent for plants during for insect to be attracted and for pollination to occur. Now, having known this, we are going to look at types of flowers based on position of ovary. Based on position of ovary, flowers may be classified as hypogynous, perigynous, and epigynous flowers based on the position of the ovary on the receptacle. Now, in hypogynous flowers, example like hibiscus flower, we have a superior ovary in which the flower, the ovary of the flower is placed above other floral parts. Here we have the ovary is placed above other floral parts on the receptacle. While in perigynous flower, like in a rose flower, we say that it's half inferior. It's half inferior, in which the ovary lies in between. It lies inside a cup-like shaped receptacle. It lies inside the receptacle. Look at here, you see that the ovary is on top of the receptacle. Why? That's why we say its ovary is superior. It lies on top of this receptacle and also on top of other floral parts. But here, the ovary lies inside the receptacle and other floral parts appear to be attached slightly above, or at most at the same level. You see that most of them slightly above, and even some of them, they are attached at the same level with the ovary. This is the ovary here, and it's been attached inside the receptacle here. Okay, now while in the epigynous flower like canna lily, guava, sunflower, they possess what we said that they have an inferior ovary. They have an inferior ovary. In this process, the ovary is placed below other floral parts on the receptacle. Look at other floral parts, they have been attached on the receptacle here, they have been attached here, but look at the ovary is here, down the receptacle, that is down receptor in the receptacle. This is an inferior ovary. So whenever you hear about superior ovary, your mind should go on hypogynous flower. When you hear about half inferior ovary, your mind should go on perigynous flower. When you hear about epigynous flower, your mind should go on inferior ovary. Remember, we have superior ovary, half inferior ovary, and we have inferior ovary. Superior, half inferior, and the inferior ovary. Now let's look at placentation in flowering plants. What is placentation? Placentation is defined as the arrangement of the ovules within the ovary. These ovules, they are always attached to the ovary by a structure called placenta. In singular, we say placenta, through short stalk called funicles. So the arrangement of the ovules within the ovary is what we are going to be looking at now. The different types of placentation. We have about 5 types of placentation, or five kinds of placentation that are found in flowering plants. Now we have the first one, marginal placentation. In marginal placentation, the ovules, they are attached to the placenta along one margin, or one margin of the ovary. The ovules, they are attached along one margin of the ovary. Example, we have beans, we have pride of Barbados, we have cowpea, we have flamboyant, we have cassia, and other ones. While in axial placentation, we have the carpel of syncarpous ovary meet in the center to form the placenta, in which the ovules are attached. Here we have the carpels of a syncarpous ovary meet in the center. Look at, they meet here in the center to form a placenta. From this placenta is where the ovules are attached. You see the ovule being attached here at the center. That's why we said that is axial placentation. We have the parietal placentation. In parietal placentation, the ovules are attached to the side of the ovary, having a single chamber. Each of them having a single chamber. To the side, the ovules, they are attached to the side of the ovary. To the side of the ovary, each of them having a single chamber. Now, in free central placentation, the ovules are borne on the knob. Look at them, they form a knob. They form a knob which projects from the base of the ovary. The free central, they form this way. The ovary, they will emanate from the knob which comes out from the base of the ovary. We have example of water leaf, we have canna lily. These are some plants that undergoes free central placentation. We have basal placentation. In basal placentation, the ovules are attached. They are attached to the base of the syncarpous ovary. They are attached to the base of the syncarpous ovary. Example, we have a sunflower. Apart from sunflower, we have another one like mango. It also has a basal placentation. These are the different kinds of placentation. You can go ahead to solve more example of these different types of fruits and the different placentation that they have. It will help you a lot, so that if you see a particular plant, you'll be able to identify. If you cut the fruit, you'll be able to identify the type of placentation that you have. Just like if you have coconut, if you have apple, if you have different fruits, so that you can be able to identify their placentation, identify how the ovules are attached to the ovary. This is what we call placentation. Now, Let's look at this fact. A flower can have more than one carpel, and a cluster of carpels is called a pistil. A flower can have more than one carpel, and a cluster of carpel is called a pistil. This is the fact for the week. And I have the quotes of the week here, that you should know, despite everything, that your success is not final. Success is not final, and failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So determine and be courageous, so that you will always continue to succeed. Thank you. Thank you.